Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I apologize for missing a day or two of videos this past week. If you've seen the title of this video, you'll know that I was definitely not doing too well. I'll try to make this video brief, but there's a lot of things that happened the last couple days. So I'll try to give you guys as much detail as possible. And just so you guys know, I'm not fabricating any part of the story. This is all straight from what happened at the hospital. It's crazy to think that it all happened. Yes, it's all true. So I'll just dive right into it and kind of share what happened. Let's go back to Tuesday night. I was eating some snacks. Everything felt fine. I was no worries with anything. Everything felt normal. And went to bed. Woke up around 1 or 2 a.m., which would be, I guess, Wednesday morning, and the middle of my stomach, it was hurting some, and I've had it happen once in a while before. Like sometimes it happens if I eat too much food, or just certain foods don't do too well with my stomach. So I thought, oh, maybe it's just something like that, or maybe, or once in a while I'll get that feeling. It's like, oh, maybe I just need to use the restroom or something, right? So attempted to use the restroom numerous times. That pain, that feeling did not go away, and it intensified like rapidly within about probably 35 minutes, 45 minutes. So it was about 2:30 a.m. roughly. It was excruciating pain, and I mean really excruciating. It was probably the worst pain I've ever felt in my life, and I don't take that lightly. It was really bad pain. And so it basically moved from the middle of my stomach to like the right side, kind of where I guess ribs or my kidneys are. And I didn't know what to do. I was obviously in tons of pain. I couldn't really think very clearly, but I was like, well, this pain is not going away, and it was extremely painful. So I was like, okay, well, I need to get to the hospital because something's going on that's it's not normal. And so basically I got my stuff, got my passport, got my money, got car keys because I am renting a car, and I got my GPS and went downstairs to leave. In my brain I was thinking, well, maybe I should just get the people in charge of the hotel and get them to take me there to the hospital or something. But I was in so much pain, I was like, I can't wait 5-10 minutes or however long it takes for them to get ready, or who knows what, or I didn't know if they would wake up in time. So I was just like, screw it, like I just need to get to the hospital. So I ended up driving myself to the hospital, which crazy story in that part, just even trying to get to the hospital. So driving down the road, it was like my second or third day. This was in Varna, Bulgaria, by the way. It was my second or third day there, so I kind of knew the general layout of how to get around a little bit. So I was heading there, and I went about maybe not even like 5 minutes, and I was like, I have to throw up. Like I was like, I got to throw up. So I literally pulled my car off the side of the road and threw up. And I'm pretty sure it was because I was in so much pain. Like I just was throwing up. And so I finally threw up, got back in the car, drove another 10-15 minutes. I was following my GPS at this point, and I was literally going around and around in circles, and GPS was saying, you arrived at your destination, you are there, blah blah blah, and I wasn't. It basically took me to a veterinarian, like a dog hospital for animals, and I was like, oh, wonderful, like I'm in terrible pain, like the worst pain I've ever felt in my life, and my GPS is taking me to basically a veterinarian clinic or something. So at that point, I was in so much pain. I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm like scared. It was terrible pain, and so basically I literally parked my car, and I got out, and I just walked down the road. And I was like, I just need to stop the first person I see and ask to get to the hospital. And so thankfully, like a couple minutes after I started walking, this dude in a car pulled up. I was like, hello, hi, I need to get to the hospital. Thankfully he knew English, and also I forgot to mention, I did contact 911, which in most European countries, or at least in Bulgaria, it's 012. But I dialed 911, and it went to the Bulgarian emergency number. So I was on the phone with them while I was talking to this random motorist guy that stopped for me. And I kind of gave him the phone and said, hey, can you tell them where I am and that I need help? And so he kind of told him where I was. The crazy situation is that where the motorist guy was like, that was helping me, was like I guess it was like a minute or two walk around the corner, and there was like a line of where they kept the ambulances. So I was really close to the hospital. My GPS took me to like a different road that wasn't the right one. So anyway, I went around the corner with the random motorist guy. We met this, I guess he was a nurse, I don't know, some guy that was dressed like, I guess, ambulance driver or something. Met him around the corner where all ambulances were, and then they brought down one of the nurses from the hospital, and she came down and met us there with the ambulances. So I got in the ambulance. I was like, I could barely talk because I was in so much pain, but I was like, I need something because I cannot stand the pain right now. And so she was like, well, basically what I can do is I can give you a shot that will probably reduce the pain, but it might come back in an hour or two, something like that. And she's like, or go to the hospital and they may or may not give you anything. And I was like, okay, well, I need the shot. So she gave me a shot, injected me with, I don't even know what it was, but it's something to help numb the pain. And then it was supposed to help reduce the pain in, I think, 25 minutes or something. And so she was there hanging out with me there at the ambulance. Their nurse was. And she was like, are you feeling any better? And it kind of took the pain away a little bit. It was still really bad, but it kind of brought it down a little bit to where I didn't feel like I was going to pass out or throw up from just how painful it was. But I was like, it's still really hurting. I was like, I need to get this figured out. So she's like, okay, well, we'll just take you to the hospital. So they drove me there, and it was like 5 minutes from where the ambulances were parked. Got to the hospital, so that time it was about, I guess, 3 a.m. or 3:30 a.m. That would be Wednesday morning. And this is kind of where the story just gets just utter ridiculous, how everything happened. I promise I'm not fabricating any of this. This is like legit what happened. I'll try to brief the story down a little bit so it's not like an hour long story, but I'll just kind of give you the main points That way it's not like ridiculous long story. Anyway, so it was like 3:30 a.m. Got inside. Basically talked to a slew of nurses and doctors. Went to different rooms, to different things. I did different x-rays, they did different tests, and so I went up and down. There was like 3 or 4 stories in the hospital, so I just basically kept going back and forth between different places. They kept giving me different like notes that said, okay, you take this note to this nurse and she'll do this for you, and then blah blah blah. So it's just like a crazy like merry-go-round of like going up here, going down here, talking to this person, talking to this person. And I was still in pain pretty much throughout that whole time, and so I was like, this is like ridiculous. I was like, I just want to get the pain taken care of. I was like, why do I have to meet all these different people, and not all of them spoke really good English or zero English. So I kind of just had to make out what they were saying with their hands and figure out all this stuff. And so, I don't know, several hours passed. So anyway, yeah, it was about 8 or 9 a.m. At that point, and basically at that point, the pain was finally kind of receding, kind of going away to the point where I felt okay. I guess at that point it was more like sore, a little painful, but not to the point where I was like, just dying. And I was like, well, I didn't know what to do. I was like, well, if I go home, the pain could come back and get worse. And so I talked with my parents and brother, and kind of figured out that maybe I should just stay and just figure out why this pain is coming and why this is happening. Basically, I was like, I don't know why this pain is coming on my side. Never felt like that ever. So. Yeah, so basically I was like, sure, fine, I'll stay. Part of me is glad I stayed, but part of me is not, and I'll kind of explain that in a little bit. But before I get too much farther, I should point out that, let's just say Bulgaria is not a rich country. Their hospitals, other types of businesses are not well maintained because they just don't have much money, period. Nothing bad is said against Bulgaria, it's a great country. Just economy and income for different businesses and other stuff, they just don't have much money. So with that being said, there was only one bathroom that I could find in the whole hospital. Now, I'm sure there was more, but I went up and down a couple different floors, and there was only one that I could find, at least that I knew of. And this one bathroom did not have any toilet paper, did not have any soap. I was like, excuse me, if I have to, use the restroom, besides peeing, like number 2, there's no toilet paper and no soap. And of course, some of the nurses I talked to, their English was not very good, and they're like toilet that way, and I was like, no, I know where the toilet is. There's no toilet paper. And so like I basically made like motions with my hand. I was like, there's no toilet paper, and they finally understood, and they're like, oh, sorry. And I was like, what do you mean sorry? And so finally one of the nurses went somewhere and came back, and she gave me basically some like paper towels or something, wadded up like 4 or 5 paper towels, and she's like, oh, here, this is all we have. And I was like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. And there still was no soap, so who knows, I don't know why they didn't have soap either, or toilet paper for that matter. So that was one kind of caveat experience, I guess you could say. That was not fun. And so when I finally got up to my hospital room, I basically was with an older gentleman who was in another bed next to mine. So we basically shared a room. And apparently he was Dutch. He said, I said hello, hi, and he's like, Dutch. And so I was like, oh, okay, he must be Dutch, but he spoke fluent Bulgarian, so I was like, oh, that's cool. But anyway, not to get too sidetracked. But anyway, I figured with being in the actual, hospital room itself that I was like, oh, there should be better accommodations, hopefully, in this actual hospital room. There wasn't. There wasn't better accommodations. I basically was given a bed and a blanket, basically. Again, there was a separate bathroom there in our little room, but again, there was no toilet paper and there was no soap. And I was like, what is going on with this hospital? I was like, is it just this hospital, or is it like, places here in general? Like, what in the world is going on? And then, and also by that time, I finally got into the room and it was like maybe 11 a.m. or noon, I can't remember. But, it was late enough in the day, and so basically, my last meal was like Tuesday, maybe 7 p.m. or something like that. And that point it was Wednesday around noon. So basically I had gone, 19 hours at that point without food or water. I asked numerous times, can I have some water? Can I have something? I'm thirsty. And all they could say was no, nope. And I was like, what do you mean no? This is a hospital. You're supposed to provide your patients with clean water and food. I mean, at least you would think, right? No, apparently not. So numerous hours go by. I'm feeling better. It's not really, there's no more pain, but I have to stay there because I'm waiting for the doctor to come back. And at this point, numerous doctors come in and out, talk to me, feel my side. Some know English, some don't. One of the doctors came in and told me to stick out my tongue, and I did, and then he touched it with his bare hand, and I was like, oh, that really grossed me out. I was like, you weren't even wearing gloves, and why did you touch my tongue with your bare hand? I was like, there's no really soap in here, did you wash your hands? I was like, anyway, that was crazy. But yeah, so basically, anyway, several hours go by, waiting for the doctor who actually knew English to come. A few came in that sort of knew English. But by the time I finally got an explanation on what was going on why I wasn't given any food or water or anything, it was about 8 p.m. Wednesday. So I basically had gone one full day without eating or drinking water. I was really fed up at that point. I literally was like, I'm just going to storm out of the hospital because no one is explaining anything to me and I can't get food or water. I was like, this is just crazy. So I walked out of my hospital room, went down the hall to where there was like 4 nurses sitting in a room, all enjoying a nice big dinner. And I was like, wow. I was like, you guys are eating, how come I haven't been able to get food or water? And those 4 nurses at that point, it's graveyard shift, none of them knew any English whatsoever. So they basically just spoke Bulgarian and they're just like pointed like, go back to your room basically. And so I went back and I was planning just to get my stuff and then just leave because I was like, I don't know what to do. This is crazy. I did call my medical insurance company throughout this whole thing, and I was trying to call them and talk to them about what was going on and talk to my parents during this whole thing as well. So finally, after about 10 minutes after I went and stormed into the nurse's office while they're eating, an English doctor came in. He's like, hi, I'm a doctor, but I'm from the other floor up above. I heard, you're having issues. What's going on? And I explained to him the whole thing about why haven't I gotten food or water this whole 24 hours or more, and why, what's going on with my side, they haven't told me anything. They're like, he's like, well, we haven't given you any food or water for this whole time because we think you might have appendicitis or kidney stones. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's not good either way. And he's like, if we have to do a surgery, you're not supposed to eat or drink water for 6 hours before we do a surgery. So if you did a surgery right now and you ate something, we couldn't do a surgery. I was like, okay, that now that kind of makes sense, right? But why didn't someone tell me that a long time ago? Like, I was thinking this whole time that you're like just purposely not giving me food or water, or I don't know, like what's going on. So he said, oh, just sleep through the night and we'll talk to you, the next morning, which would be Thursday morning. So Thursday morning rolled around. They said, how are you feeling? I said, I really am feeling nothing really. There was no pain at that point. And they said, well, we think it's just like kidney colic, I guess they called it, which is, I guess it's like, they said kind of like kidneys, like, what'd they say? It's kind of like there's kidney stones like that, get formed into like balls, like hard balls. They said you have like kidney sand, so it's like granules before they turn into the balls or whatever. I don't know. But it still causes like, a crazy amount of pain. So he said, we're not going to do surgery because it sounds like you're going to be fine. And I said, okay, so can I leave? And they said, yeah, if you want, you can be discharged today, but it'll be like afternoon or something. So I was like, okay, cool. So at that point I was like, okay, great, they're going to give me food and water, all that stuff, and hopefully toilet paper and stuff like that. But several hours go by and still no food, no water. I've asked, nothing. So literally the only food or water I got provided was from the nice old roommate that was in the next hospital bed in my room. His wife came by, she provided like 3 or 4 meals and like a couple bottles of water, and she gave me some of it to eat and to drink. So it makes me think that the hospital, since they just don't have enough income or funding, that they just don't provide their patients with food or water, or apparently toilet paper. I don't know. So it seems like the patients' families come and bring them food and water and other essentials, apparently. That's kind of what it seemed like, because the guy in the hospital bed next to me got brought like 3 or 4 meals worth of food and water at that point in time, and no one from the hospital brought him food or water themselves. It was all from his wife. So that's kind of what it seemed like. I was like thinking, like, in my predicament, I'm alone in a different country. I don't have family or friends here that could have provided me food or water. So if this gentleman decided not to give me anything, what would happen? Like, I wouldn't get food or water? Like, it's crazy. So regardless to say, I finally got discharged from the hospital. It was Thursday. It was supposed to be, I asked to be released at 1 because I was so fed up with everything. But they finally got me released around, I think it was 3 p.m. Thursday. So I spent like a day and a half in the hospital, basically. But the discharge process was just as insane. I had to fill out a ton of forms, which I know it's normal, but I had to fill out a ton of stuff. When I had to go pay, this one nurse took me outside the hospital. I had to go to an ATM to get cash because they don't take cards or anything else. So I had to go out of the hospital with her to an ATM. Then we walked to a separate building next to the hospital, or kind of around the corner, like a couple blocks away, to go to this other building to pay. I don't know if it was like at their main hospital headquarters or something, I don't know. So we went to this other person to pay. They brought the receipts to a different person in that same building with my money. They all stamped it. I finally got everything back, had to go back to the hospital with the nurse. They finally took because this whole time I had like, you know, IVs in my arms and stuff, so they finally took the IVs and everything out. Oh yeah, and then the one of the nurses who was kind of like my age, I think. She was like, I don't know, 20s, 25. She took me to get, they gave me like down the street to the pharmacy to get like the medications that they were prescribing me. So I went there with her, and then she was just like, okay, well, you're good to go. And I was like, all right, that's it, but that took forever. And then I was like, well, I don't know exactly where my car is, because I parked it in the middle of the night and I was in pain. And I was like, I know it's by where all your ambulances are parked. And she was like, oh, it's that way. And so I went in that direction. I walked around and around and around, and I couldn't find my rental car. And I was like, what else could go wrong, you know? I was like, I just didn't want to get in my rental car and go back and just not deal with this anymore. So I asked several other people, because at that point I couldn't find the hospital again, because it's just a labyrinth of little streets in Varna. And so I asked all these people, I was like, can you just get me back to the hospital so then I can ask them again? So thankfully one random lady stopped and she gave me a ride to close to where the hospital was, and I found the hospital again. I went back up in there and I was like, where's my car? I don't know where my car is. I explained, I was like, it's by where all your ambulances are parked. Even the nurse girl who was my age that spoke good English was like, I don't know. And I was like, how do you not know it? Like, that's where all your ambulances are. Like, don't you know where that is? And she's like, I'm not sure. And so like some other lady, nurse there, called her daughter to help translate, and she's like, oh, blah, 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 must be by here. And so then the nurse girl my age was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I know where that is now. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, this has been the craziest thing ever. So she finally walked, thankfully, she was nice enough, and she walked with me, which took about 15-minute walk or something from the hospital down to where my car was. Thankfully, my car was there. I was able to get in it and go back to the hotel and get my stuff to journey on. And I drove 4 hours to this location, which I'm now in Shipka, Bulgaria. And yeah. Anyway, guys, that was my crazy hospital experience. Like I said, I really hope no one else has to go through something like that. Thankfully, right now at this point in time, I'm not in pain. Once in a while, it'll be a little bit sore, but I have been given medications and stuff. So at least I got that. I was provided at least some medications to be taken home with me. So anyway, sorry this is probably going to be a long video, and I probably won't edit much. I just want it to be just straight from, you know, my heart and what happened. And so hopefully you can sit down and enjoy a little bit longer video. But just wanted to kind of let you guys know, you know, what happened, what was going on. A lot of you probably didn't even know about it. I didn't really post it. I didn't post anything on social media about it. My family did for me, I think, but I didn't really want to kind of broadcast that myself until I could sit down and kind of explain everything in my own words. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Also, if you've been amazing and watched until this, I can't talk. Also, if you've decided to watch this entire video, which I appreciate, let me know what you guys want video-wise coming up. To those that have been following my channel for a while, I have probably about 20 videos or so from Ukraine that I have not uploaded or edited yet. That includes like places from Chernobyl and other abandoned places around that area. And I've also filmed about 5 or 6 videos so far in Bulgaria that are abandoned or other interesting things in the area. So let me know kind of what you guys would like to see next. Do you want to kind of follow my journeys from Ukraine forward, or do you kind of want kind of current videos of where I am at that point in time? So like today I'm in Bulgaria, so do you want kind of Bulgarian videos and then kind of have the other videos come out when I'm back home? Or I don't know, let me know what you guys would prefer. And kind of, I'll kind of read through some comments, and I guess whatever gets kind of the most majority decision I'll probably try to go with, because I want you guys to enjoy the videos with me, and I want you guys to have a kind of say in kind of what's coming up. So let me know what you guys think. With that being said though, if you guys would like the video that I just shot today, not this hospital one, but I went to Hospitalized, the abandoned communist UFO looking building up here in Bulgaria. I filmed all that today. So if you guys would like to see that like Sunday, and then maybe starts all the other videos after that, let me know. I think it's probably my favorite abandoned place so far. So if you guys want that video, let me know. I can post that one Sunday and then maybe continue on with other ones. So thanks for watching, guys. Sorry this is kind of long, but I wanted to give you the whole picture. And as always, live, explore, travel. Thank you guys, and I am doing okay. So thank you for all your support, love, and prayers. All right, bye.